I am your Sergeant of Arms, Jonathan, and our Toastmaster for today, I believe, will be Jesus or TJ.
It will be me.
All right, it will be Miss TJ, and Miss TJ has a very big smile on her face today because I kind of blew her mind yesterday, so she will go a little bit more in detail of that. So with that being said, as Sergeant of Arms, let's get this meeting started.
All right. Thank you very much for that excellent introduction. As always, Jonathan, never seemed to amaze me. Um, welcome, everybody, to our 3 o'clock Toastmasters meeting. I hope everyone has been doing well today. And before we actually get started with everything, I did want to just make sure that everyone did receive my email from yesterday in regards to submitting their ballots on what leadership roles they wanted to possibly go out for. Did everybody receive that? You can either comment in the chat, or speak.
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
All right,
Yep.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I see people chatting as well. Awesome. All right. Awesome. If we can get that complete by no later than Sunday, that would be really good so that we're able to at least figure out exactly who all will be going out for those roles, and make sure that we have enough people to be able to fill those roles before our elections on Tuesday. So thank you guys. And also, I want to go ahead, as we have time and we have a lot of great information to talk about later on. I want to go ahead and pass it along to Mr. Jesus, who's going to be our table topics master for today and be able to get us started with some table topics. Jesus, it's on you.
Hello, how is everyone doing today? Happy Thursday. Hope everyone is doing well. We're going to start off with some table topics today, and then we'll be going over some of our election roles that are going to be available for voting. So very excited about today. The first person that I wanted to choose for a table topics was definitely one of my favorite speakers of all time, Mr. Sir James. Are you there?
I literally just popped in off of a call.
This is the good thing about Toastmasters, is learning how to give impromptu speeches, learning how to roll with the punches. You're going to, I think that Toastmasters just completely, breaks you down and rebuilds you into a much stronger version of yourself. So very excited. I wanted it to know, Mr. Sir James, if you could select a number from 1 to 50.
33.
33. Okay, that's a really good number. I love that number. So if you could choose one book as a mandatory read for all high school students, which book would you choose? Now, I believe you've gotten this question before. Am I right or am I wrong?
I have. Can I do a different question?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's do 43.
43. So you can see we're our creatures of habit. Sometimes we'll pick the same number and we'll get the same question. Okay, 43 is, what are you most grateful for?
I am grateful for a lot of things. What I'm most grateful for is life. Here's why. I'm grateful for life because even though we make mistakes, even though there are trials and errors that happen, I'm a firm believer and have faith that I'm forgiven for that and I can be made new every day. Essentially, when I think about life, I think about dying to myself every night and waking up with a fresh start, a fresh breath of air, a fresh moment to sit back and ponder how my day is going to go. When I think about those things, it makes me grateful because I know people that don't get to experience that in the next day. For example, I'll be transparent. I just lost my father a couple weekends ago, and to be able to wake up and know he's not there, but also know he's not suffering any longer either. That kind of goes in two and two because he may not have life on this earth, but he does have life somewhere else in eternity. So being grateful for waking up, having life, and knowing that there's going to be life after death in eternity, well spent. It makes me truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insightful, amazing response. And everything that you covered there was so meaningful. And especially to me, I also lost my father when I was very young, and it definitely changed the way I thought about the world. But I love your response because it gives us a sense of hope, knowing that through our mistakes, we can learn and we can improve ourselves. So I think that was a wonderful response. So I wanted it to go ahead and select the next person. I see here Nicole, and I don't think I've ever heard Nicole do a table topic. So I really wanted it to pick Nicole. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Can you pick a number from 1 through 50 for me, please?
Ooh, Nicole.
32.
32. What do we all have in common besides our genes that make us human?
Ooh. We have, and I'll be honest, I've done a table topics before for like team meetings, so I've never done a table topics for a group before, and I wasn't expecting this, so give me some slack. I think that we all have in common the urge to do good and also vulnerability in general. I think that, I mean, we're all human, obviously, but we're all human in those human ways that we want to achieve good things in one way or another, and we're all vulnerable in one way or another. We're all vulnerable in different ways, and we all want to achieve different things, but it all comes down to we all want to achieve good.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Nicole. You're a wonderful public speaker. I can see you've done this before. Thank you so much. So the next person that I wanted to pick is one of my favorite speakers. That's someone I've always looked up to, and you probably won't appreciate her that much until you get into more advanced speeches, and then you realize how talented she really is. So Diane, I'm gonna call on you now to roll with the punches. Please pick a number from 1 through 50.
Let us do 9.
9. What's a belief that you hold with which many people disagree? What's a belief that you hold with which many people might disagree?
So a belief that I hold with which many people may disagree is actually very relevant to the time we're in right now. I believe the color of your skin does not determine your character, does not determine your ethics, your pride, or how you interact with others. And I hold that very deeply to the fact that what is occurring, many will say, man, she really doesn't have an understanding based on my complexion. And I will let you know that my understanding is extremely deep through my experiences of life and the way that I was raised. And I hold those thoughts to be crucial in the way that we move forward in the time that we're in. An individual should be judged on them as the individual, the actions they put forth, the manner in which they communicate, the things that they do on a day-to-day, and the circumstances that they put themselves into, potentially. Judge people by what or how they affect you versus judging them strictly on surface. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. I think it was Dr. King that said that he was hoping for a day where people would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. Dr. Martin Luther King is one of my heroes, and I'm actually from a very diverse family. We have African Americans, Italians, Spanish. I have so many different culture in a family, and it's so much fun and beautiful. And so I'm always kind of surprised when I read some of these sad stories. So keep it positive and remember that our differences are things that we should embrace, because that means we can learn from each other. So I'm going to go ahead now and pick another one of my favorite speakers, Tamara Chang.
I didn't know I was still on the camera. I'm sorry, guys. Fix my face. I didn't know I was still on camera. My bad.
So
All right, I'm
I
ready.
was wondering if you could pick a number from me from 1 through 75.
Well, let's pick 65 because that's when you collect Social Security. And I'm ready to stop working.
Oh, wow, this was really deep. I'm so glad I've never get this question.
Oh, no.
This is really hard. I wish I would have given this one to Diane. What is the difference between falling in love and being in love? What? Hold on, I'm going to put myself on mute.
What's the difference between falling in love and being in love? Well, I think the biggest difference would be falling in love would be an actual phase or transition that you go through with someone. It starts off with, maybe the bubbly feeling or the tingling feel that they give you when you first meet or if you talk to them on the phone. So I feel like falling in love is a transition, whereas being in love is you've now reached that point to where you kind of have an understanding for one another. You know what you like, what you don't like about that person. And being in love is definitely a totally different feeling that you'll receive. It's kind of like being in the beginning of a relationship where you kind of like someone. You don't know where it's going to go, but you're just going to kind of try it out. Whereas once you are in love with someone, you're at that point to where this is going to be the person that you're going to be with for life, and you couldn't see yourself with anyone else. So that's my understanding of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing that with me. And I'm still trying to figure that one out myself, so I appreciate that.
Me too. Don't feel bad.
So the next person that I wanted to pick is someone from our neighboring departments, from the Corporate Alliance Department. April, I know the last time you spoke, I was so impressed with you, and I really would love to hear you speak again. Are you ready, April?
I am. Unfortunately, I don't have camera, though. We don't have that capability.
That's okay. Your voice will be more than enough.
Got it.
I was wondering if you could pick a number from 1 through 75, please.
Number 19.
For 19. If you had a friend who spoke to you in the same way that you sometimes speak to yourself, how long would you allow this person to be your friend? So if you had a friend who spoke to you in the same way that you sometimes spoke to yourself, how long would you allow this person to be your friend?
Wow, that's loaded. So I'm going to break it down and process that. The person that I've become, from a baby to a little girl to a woman, and a woman that's seen the world with wisdom and through others' eyes, I would say I would want that person in my life at this point for a lifetime. I don't only judge myself by the things that are happening around me. I process, I pause, I stop and think. I allow myself to be a friend to me, because if I'm not a friend to myself, how am I able to give myself to others? My hand. We have to keep ourselves charged. I also lost one of my best friends this weekend. I lost my cousin to a drunk driver. I buried her. I watched my entire family go through so much with COVID-19, with a funeral that had to be filmed virtually, and to understand how I have to go through days where there's no one to talk to except yourself. I would say to that friend, I need you for a lifetime. Hold my hand, stand next to me, side by side, and we can walk together through whatever is coming. We can face it. And that's what I would want. I would want that person, that friend, that soul in my life forever, because the woman that I become now, I've grown in my process. Thank you.
I'm really speechless. That was so beautiful and so insightful. And I thank you for sharing that really personal side of your life with us. We're really thankful for that. Thank you so much. I wanted to go ahead now and pick another speaker. And I really, really admire this guy just because he did sit-ups in his speech. Who does that? That's like really, really hard to do and to keep your composure. So I'm without further delay, Mr. Jonathan Ortiz, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. So I'm sorry. So I'm kind of behind the scenes sending out a forum for everybody. So that way you guys could give your feedback. So instead of doing all this pulling up the Microsoft Office, you could just click on the link and just type in your feedback. So I apologize about taking so long.
Thank you. So I was wondering if you could choose a number from 1 through 75, Mr. Ortiz.
Can I do 44?
44. Is stealing to feed a starving child wrong?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Is stealing to feed a starving child wrong?
No. It depends on the ethical standpoint. I grew up having Section 8. I know what it's like to go to bed hungry 3 nights in a row. I grew up skinny because genetically I'm skinny, and number 2, my parents just didn't have the money, and my grandmother just simply didn't have the money. We had a certain amount of rice, we had a certain amount of meat, and what we like to do is try to make our weekends as special as possible. But during the week, my food was very, very scarce, and I've been, personally, I've been in kind of those situations. So I don't think that anybody in the world should go to bed hungry. I don't think everybody deserves a meal. And if it's for some people, because we're living in the largest civil rights movement of all time, and one of the topics we do need to start talking about is poverty and worldwide poverty. And we have people in the United States, in Tampa, Florida, that go to bed hungry. And for some people, I really want you guys to really understand, and I might be going over time, is that we all deserve to get the basic needs, love, care, and food. So to answer that question is yes. I do think it's not wrong to steal if it is to feed a hungry child. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Jonathan. You guys are really going to make me cry today. I mean, you guys are really pulling the strings of my heart with your words, with your feelings, with your honesty, with your courage. You guys are just amazing. I know this has been really tough right now with everything going on in the world, and I'm really glad to be part of Toastmasters, and all of you, and sharing your speeches really gives me strength. This is like my little sanctuary away from all the madness going on around us. So I thank you for your honesty and your courage, Jonathan. I'm going to go ahead and now pick another speaker. This is someone that has mentored me that I've always enjoyed talking to him. Mr. Joseph Mastandrea. Are you ready, sir?
Hello, hello. I am always ready, as a true Toastmaster should be.
I love it. So I'm going to expand this a little bit longer now. We're going to go from question 1 through 100. If you could please pick a number, sir.
I have famously asked people to ask me some of the hardest questions on that list. I like to be challenged. So if you don't mind, Jesus, I'd like you to pick one that you think would be especially difficult and let me cut my teeth.
Okay, okay. What impact do you want to leave on the world? Not just professionally, but personally.
So I'm a humble man. I don't feel like I need to be remembered for the rest of time. There have been countless millions of people that have been lost to the sands of time who we will never know and never remember. The impact I'm trying to leave is a much more small and humble impact, because just like those nameless millions of people who we can't remember, their actions still have consequences that are leading to this moment. A family member they inspired, somebody they helped who may not have made it through the day had they not intervened. Those small little actions that get unnoticed on the grand scale of existence is what really matters, in some cases between life and death for some people. So the impact I want to leave will probably never be on the newspapers, probably never be on TV. I won't have a Wikipedia article based on my highlights, although I can't deny that would be pretty sweet. But at the end of the day, I want to die knowing that I at least touched people along the way who, even though it'll go unnoticed, were ultimately better for me having been involved in their life. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Joseph. And I can honestly say that I definitely feel like you've had a really positive impact on my professional development and my professional life. So I'm very thankful for you.
Of course.
I wanted it to go ahead now and pick somebody that I just love it. She really radiates with confidence. And that person is going to be Latina. Are you ready for me, Latina? I can't hear you that well. I don't know if you're on mute.
I am. I'm on mute. Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome, welcome. I was wondering if you could please pick a number from 1 through 100 for me, please.
Of course. Let's do number 1 through 100. Let's do number 8.
Number 8. Who do you love and what are you doing about it? Who do you love and what are you doing about it? Wow.
Who do I love and what am I doing about it? I find myself every day realizing that I love myself enough to love others. I love helping people do something different that also encourages me to do better for me. So what I'm doing about it is actually putting action behind my words. If I truly love me, then I will serve others to improve their lives. If I truly love me, I will create an environment where I am welcomed and where my light is not dimmed. If I truly love me, I will show action behind every decision I make, whether it helps me in the long run or it helps others in the long run. But as long as I know how to love me right, I can't go wrong with loving others. So that's what I'm doing about it.
Thank you so much, Latina. And I really hope you publish in the future because I really see a lot of Maya Angelou in you. You're one of my favorite speakers, very eloquent, and I love your impromptu speeches as well. I wanted it to go now to someone that I admire very much. This person, I don't know if you guys know, but my dad was a big boxing fan, and so I grew up with Sugar Ray Leonard. I grew up with, Ali, Frazier. So this person actually boxed before in the past, so I really, he automatically won like the highest levels of my respect. Mo, are you ready? Can you hear me?
Yes, I guess I'm ready.
I know you are. I was wondering, sir, if you could please select a number from 1 through 100, please.
Let's go with the century mark. Let's go with 100.
Okay. If happiness was the national currency, what kind of work would make you rich?
What kind of work would make me rich?
If happiness was the national currency.
If happiness was the national currency. I actually have to tie it a little bit to how you introduced me about just boxing, passion for it, opening up a boxing gym and just making it free for, the kids. A lot of times with the accessibility of that as a way to just kind of get out of trouble, kind of, use that venue to like just focus on your mind, body, and soul. It's not accessible to everybody. So making it accessible, you learn a lot about life through boxing. You learn a lot about yourself, how to overcome things, how to persevere. Boxing gyms are known to lose money. It's not the as far as a business model, is not a great model. They more often than not lose money than make money. But if we're talking about happiness as a currency, I could see myself getting up every day, taking that lock, opening it up, and letting the kids in and helping them train, becoming better people, better men, better women in this world. So that's what I would do. I will open up a boxing gym.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Mo. And I will share with you one of my boxing experiences. I did a little bit of boxing just outside in the park with some of my friends. And so there was this guy, Dre, in high school that everyone was afraid of. He used to box. He was like 200 pounds. And I was about 130 pounds. And so all of our friends got together to box one day just playing around. And I decided to box Dre because I wasn't scared. So as the match started, I just remember waking up and saying, how did I do? And everyone was like, you're really courageous, Jesus. But I found out that I got knocked out with the first punch. So I wasn't so successful as you were with my first boxing experience, but it was a lot of fun. So I wanted to move on down to the next person. Sherline, are you available?
Yes, I'm available. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you pick a number from 1 through 100 for me, please?
All right, I'm gonna choose my age. I'm 28 years old.
28. Okay, here we go. What makes you smile?
People. I love people. Um, I love the different personalities. I love to feel everybody's spirit. I'm not sure if you can, but I love the intention that I get once I enter the room. The looks on their eyes, the smile on their face, that reflects to me the kids, but people, actually people. I'm a people person, if nobody didn't know that. But yeah, people.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I agree with you. I really do actually miss being in the office and just turning around and talking to my coworkers who sit by me. So thank you for sharing that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name properly, so please correct me if I am incorrect. LaShanika Franklin, is that correct? Miss Franklin, can you hear me? Hello? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. Maybe she's not in. Juan Colon, are you available, Juan?
I guess I can't say no, so sure. All right.
Okay, Mr. Colon, can you please give me a number from 1 through 100?
Since we're doing ages, I guess we'll do 30.
30. Oh my gosh, you're up there. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah, that was a week ago.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Feel that hip.
If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be?
Just be kind. That's really what it comes down to. We all know the state of the world that's we're living in, the protests that are going on, the chaos in the streets. Like, if we just stopped listening to each other and was just nice to each other, everything else will fall along in place. Like even the big issues we have, it all comes down to me just not wanting to listen to you. For some reason, I don't like you for something, which really doesn't matter. Just be kind and talk to people. That's my message. Thank you. I know that was kind of short, but there we go. All right.
Thank you. Thank you
Cool.
very much. I love that. I think one of my favorite quotes is that kindness is the language that the blind can see and the deaf can. So I definitely agree with that. I love that. Okay, I wanted to go to our Francis. Francis Smith, are you available?
I'm right here. Hi, everybody.
Hi, can you give me a number from 1 through 100, please?
Yeah, let's go.
2, okay. Who do you sometimes compare yourself to?
I think I always compare myself to my mother. I see so much of her in me lately, especially now that I'm getting older. And I'm married and I have my own household that I keep up with. I feel like I see her in me almost every day. So I compare myself a lot to my mom, and it's a good thing. She's a great lady. I can only hope to grow up one day and be half the woman that she is and still be able to keep on walking after all the things that she's been through and being able to provide a family for me and my sister by herself. So I think that on a daily, I try to be as great as she is. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Francis. I agree with you. Moms are amazing. My mom is my best friend, so I totally agree with you with that. And then another person I haven't heard from is Shannon. Shannon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Can you give me a number from 1 through 100, please?
Okay. Let's do 25.
25? Okay, let's see here. When is it time to stop calculating risk and rewards and just do what you know is right?
Actually, I had that one before, so can I pick another one?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me do 30.
That was one that Huang just did. The one about
that's right.
do you want to try 31?
Yeah, let's try 31.
Okay. If the average human lifespan was 40 years, how would you live your life differently?
Oh, that's very deep. I guess I would start taking more risks. You know, kind of pushing myself a little bit more. Even though I'm somebody that's really competitive, I'm somebody that likes to weigh my options first. So I would probably just kind of start, jumping in with both feet, going skydiving or things like that, just really enjoying my life and letting the people around me know how much I cared about them and, how much they meant to me. Like, I never relate to Frances, what she said, because I'm really close with my mom. So I guess telling her, more often than I do would be one of the things I would do. And then I'd probably take maybe more like career risks, because when I was in college, I just wanted to play it safe, wanted to be like a psychology major. So maybe I would have gone down a different path, like stuck with pre-med, which is what I started out with, and gone down that way. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead now and conclude our table topics. I wanted to personally thank everyone who participated, everyone who shared your stories. I was very moved today, and I thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back now over to TJ. So back over to you.